Hey, Gavax here. So, there was a huge information dump on Madden 21 The Yard, and it's the real thing, not that fake-ass mobile beep. So, instantly demonetized, but let's watch this trailer for Madden 21 The Yard, and then we're going to go through the blog that kind of breaks it down and give our thoughts. Let's down here. So, you and I are known as intelligent investors, right? Not investors, but gamers. So it's cool to have that stylized shit. It's there, whatever. I prefer more actually seeing the gameplay in action. Like, a lot of the things that are cool that they're mentioning here in the Yard blog, which we'll get to in a second, I would have much rather watched that than a hype piece. But, you know, they do need to hype it up that way for certain types of gamers. But us nerds, let's look into the actual finer detail and in-depth stuff. So there's a lot of introduction and stuff. What is the Yard? Okay, our first experiences with football using the backyard. All right, that's an introduction. Don't care. Let's look at the actual shit that's happening. So how do we translate the gameplay of the backyard into Madden NFL 21? Let's go over some of the unique rules you will find in the Yard. The field is 80 by 40 yards, so a little different there. Like flag football, first downs are granted by passing 20-yard markers. So little change there, but you know what? It's nothing that we can really judge as being good or bad, right? We'll see, right? A lot of this will end up happening, and I'm going to go through this and talk about it, but like, we'll end up judging this as we play it, right? Which is kind of why I wanted to see gameplay of it, because it's a lot easier to judge it when you actually see it on the field versus conceptualizing it in your mind. But I think there's a lot of cool things they're talking about here. Double passes is one of them. Let's go through that. When you're behind the line of scrimmage in the Yard, all passes are legal as many times as you want. We call this the double pass. And you will notice that the receiver icons are always on in the Yard. Once you are past the line of scrimmage, you can pass behind you as often as you'd like. We even added a one-timer mechanic that allows you to bat the ball in the air to another receiver. When the ball's in the air, hold LT or L2 and press any receiver button. So, again, like, it really depends on how snappy and how good this is and how accurate it is, right? Have you ever tried a lateral in Madden? I've tried a lateral, you know, hundreds of times in Madden, and sometimes it just laterals to no one in particular. So it really depends on how much it snaps on, like, you know, how FIFA's passing system, it can help you, it can guide you to where you're going on versus just, like, you know, whatever direction your left thumbstick is pointed. So it will be interesting to see all of this. And it's all cool in concept, right? The execution is another thing, but I think concept-wise, love it. Love it, love it, love it, and that's all I can really say about that, right? They put out the infographic. Hold LT and press any receiver button icon while the ball's in the air to catch the ball and immediately throw it. Advanced catching, the one-timer. So, yeah, I mean, like, cool, right? Like, it's kind of like that what Randy Moss play, which I can't show because of NFL rules, where he caught it and then he kind of, like, did the pitch and then the guy ran for the touchdown with, like, 2 seconds left in the half. That was, you know, kind of what they're going for, and it's kind of a blast. The only thing, like, we'll get to gear in a second, actually, before I make any more comments on, you know, shoulder pads and helmets and stuff, and the NFL probably wanted them to keep that. But laterals. The play never ends once you master laterals by pressing LB or L1. So this one is left trigger for the one-time catching, LB or L1 for laterals, as often as you like in the Yard. I don't know why they wouldn't put that on the same button, right? Because catch it and throw it with left trigger, I feel like it's the same thing as catching and throwing it, or holding it and throwing it with LB, L1. Huh. I don't know if I like that. That seems weird that they separate that. Couldn't you just make it one master button? That's one quite, like, off the bat, that's one thing I want to ask. Nobody's going to answer it, but that's just one thing I'm going to ask. To the ether. You can lateral as often as you would like in the Yard. These have special trajectories and animations that keep the play going. You can even lateral out of a tackle. However, don't get too greedy as lateral is high risk and high reward in the Yard. It makes sense, high risk, high reward, but special trajectories and animations does give me hope that it's a little bit more snappy to keep the play going. So definitely always hustle out the play, right? Play's never done, right? Your old football coach is probably yelling at you and making you do those pursuit drills again. Sadly, pursuit in the game is ass. We'll talk about a little bit of the CPU having to take over a little bit here in a second. Pass rush timer, pass timer. Now, this is interesting. This is kind of like, you guys ever play, I've played Madden like this when I was a real young kid, where you're on the defensive end and you turn off sides, and then you're sprinting against the invisible wall, and then once the play's snapped, you can just run around as fast as possible. This is exactly what this feels like, and I'll talk about it in a second. Maybe it'll be a bounce thing, but If you've ever counted Mississippi in a backyard game, you can get this one. Each unique location will have a timer that dictates when the defense can pass rush. We'll talk about the locations in a second. But also a pass timer that shows how much time you have to throw if you have not been rushed. Our standard is a 1 second pass rush and 4 second pass timer. So the 1 second pass rush means like you have to wait a second, so like you have an invisible wall. If you try to blitz too early, you'll run into a barrier wall that will stop your forward momentum. If the quarterback holds onto the ball too long without passing, the play will be whistled dead. Finally, if you are blitzed, the timer goes away and you're free to scramble past the line of scrimmage, but you can't rush until the defense comes after you. So I think like it's interesting that like you could basically neutralize the Lamars of the world just by not rushing him. It's a very interesting meta balancing decision, right? You get a 1 second rush. Are you able, if the quarterback drops back, to take that 1 second rush and get to him within 3 seconds? The answer is obviously yes, right? It doesn't take that long to go from here to here. Okay, I guess I can scroll down. From here, rushing, to like here, to get to the quarterback, so he could just roll out there. So against like obviously a non-mobile quarterback, you're going to want to rush him. So I think mobile quarterbacks will still be needed because otherwise the meta is just going to be, now you have 3 seconds to get the ball out and less. So I think it's an interesting balance mechanic, and I kind of like it. I do kind of like that. It's going to be a different type of football, and that's kind of, what I'm hoping for. An exciting, fun, fast-paced, football. And that's kind of what we're getting, and we're getting a little bit more than that. So this 1 second pass rush, because like in mobile, I don't remember there being a 1 second like delay, one Mississippi, right? But the 4 second pass timer, like, so if they have a Lamar Jackson, they got to get the ball out in 4 seconds and they can't scramble anyways, right? That's just kind of neat. So like if you're like, oh, he's a super mobile quarterback, well, let's just keep him in the pocket. All right, just don't rush him. So defense is like got the strats against pocket passers by blitzing them, mobile passers by not blitzing them, and then like now you have like different ways in balancing things, and I think that is kind of neat. We'll see, what the meta develops into. I still think players like Lamar and people will just end up rushing them anyways. That's just how this ends up playing. But let's move on. Multi-snap. This is really interesting. Another tool you have in your arsenal is the ability to snap to any player on the field. This is called a multi-snap. Just use L2 or L2. Can I get those snap bracelets in this game? They just remind me. Yeah, can I get like multiple snap bracelets? There you go. That's the kind of accessorizing I need. Yes. I love accessorizing. Just use L2 or LT to bring up the prompt and press a button icon for any player on the field to snap to that player. So you don't have to snap to the quarterback. You can snap to somebody else. Really weird, but kind of cool, right? So the ball's gonna like warp. I don't know, like, or they're gonna toss it to that player. Otherwise, you will snap as normal to the quarterback. Be careful though. If you snap to a receiver lined up on the line of scrimmage against a DB, you won't have much time to drop back. Don't you have a second? Like, right? Don't you get that second to drop back too? So like, you still have time to drop back if you snap to DB, unless they take that timer off. But I don't think they would. Huh? I don't get this line. You won't have much time to drop back if you snap to a receiver lined up on the line of scrimmage. You know what's funny though? Like, what was it 2 years ago? I saw this glitch last year. There's a glitch of like custom playbooks and regs where you can snap directly to somebody out wide, and like you could get like an instant touchdown that way because like the defense wouldn't adjust well. So it's interesting that they made this. It was a bug. Now it's a mechanic. That's not a bug. That's a feature. Combined with the new Madden NFL 21 mechanics like ball carrier, stick skill, and DB lock-on, which we've talked about before. Ball carrier, stick skill. They actually, funny enough, made the ball carriers worse in 21 versus 20 based off my beta usage and what they've said. You can see how they got the tools to create moments like never before. But just to make sure that you don't miss them, we've created a vast number of unique custom animations for the yard, like behind the back passes and between the leg catches that will make sure every game will be something to remember. We remember all those things from NFL Blitz, and cool, right? More uniqueness. I got nothing else to say about that. Scoring in the yard. Score The yard is a special scoring system that rewards the type of creative playmaking that makes the game special. Touchdowns are 6 points. You get a double pass, a lateral, 2-point bonus. Score a touchdown long on 40 yards. 1 bonus point. Interceptions earn you a bonus point. Extra points are up to you. 1, 2, or 3-point conversions. Sweet. Was that the XFL that had like the 3-point conversions? Maybe I'm thinking it wrong. I didn't really watch it. I actually maybe watched 1 or 2 games, but not enough to... Hopefully The Rock brings it back, but that's neither here nor there. I like it. You know what? It incentivizes people to get a little bit more custom versus the same play over and over. And hopefully people add a little bit more creativity. It brings a little bit of like the cool factor, the skill gap of being able to pull these things off. Now, I don't know. Maybe they're mindless, but I don't think they'd be mindless. I think that'd be kind of cool. Scoring bonus points is just kind of a wrap-up, the same thing. What does that mean in the context of the game? All right, interception. Wait, if you get an interception behind midfield, did a couple sweet laterals, went for 3-point conversion, you just scored yourself 13 points in a single play, plus the conversion. Did I talk about the interceptions? Interceptions earn you 1 bonus point. Sweet. Like Superstar KO, the yard is drive-based. Our standard rules are each team gets 3 drives, so each possession matters, and when you make it, will determine who gets home, who wins and who goes home on the wrong side of a poster. You posterize them, I guess, is the word. So yeah, 3 drives. And then overtime is modified college OT time. Each team gets a drive. After 3 drives, each team gets a single play to score until there's a touchdown winner. I don't think we'll have too many OTs. I think we'll have a few, obviously. But overall, cool. I like it. I like it drive-based. The yard playbooks, they're super unique. But the thing about the yard, so they made a bunch of custom plays here, but they said, you know, a lot of this is kind of just whatever, right? Because, you know, 2... And here's the bad thing about this. I don't know if I mentioned it above. Maybe they mentioned it down here. Yeah, they mentioned it down there a little bit. The only bad thing about the yard is the fact that it's 3v3 online versus 6v6. Now, they talk about fun factor, and we'll get to that in a bit. So, like, while these plays are set up, and they're different, and you can do that, like, a lot of it is based off custom plays, and you'll be running it with different players. So, like, you know, humans can run whatever route they want. The problem is the CPU is also going to be out here. So, frustratingly enough, it is still only 3v3, just like squad, so... It's sad that we're going to have to deal with the computer AI some more, because you know how much we all, you know, like, okay, computers, they fucking suck. But we'll talk about that in a second. So, like, while these yards are different, there's, you know, not as many as, like, a standard in-depth Madden playbook. I still think it's fine, right? I still think there's a lot of unique route combinations. As long as they have a lot of these things, like, having a slant on a play is fucking useless, because you can just hot route a slant, right? So, like, a lot of this stuff... I don't understand. Like, these plays, this is cool as hell, right? There are very unique routes here. Center slant out. So I do like it, these unique plays, but yeah, it is what it is. I think it's going to be very varied, we'll say. In the yard, it isn't about the play you start with, but what play you create. They've created a single playbook for all teams. You know, Superstar KO has different playbooks. I think that's fine. I think it's fine to be standard. Right there. You'll have limited number of custom design plays on both offense and defense. The goal here is to encourage you to create your own moments on the field. Kind of what I talked about. And they said direct snap to HB, lateral quarterback feels a deep bomb to a streaking receiver. After the catch, he tosses back to a trailing receiver who uses the ball carrier moves to evade the defense to score a multi-bonus point touchdown. That's easy. It's that easy and that fun. Right, easy. Easy. But yeah, like, I think we're going to have... some pretty big moments in this, and I think there's going to be a lot of sweet highlights that come from this mode. Prototypes. So now they're going to get on character creation, and like me, a 6-pack with the midriff, but I never showed off. Actually, more of a keg, but it is what it is. So you will choose positions, and let's talk about this. And I think this is kind of where we all wanted to go. Now, there was 2 different ways they could have done this. The NBA 2K way, where you level up your character as the time goes along, or the NHL way, where you barely level them up and everyone can just jump in right away. So they went with a 2K way a little bit more, which I'll describe here in a second, but it is nice. Prototypes. So basically you can be a strength on offense, maybe you sacrifice a little on defense. The problem is, like, if you choose a Lamar Jackson prototype, you're basically also strong on defense. Maybe you won't be able to tackle, but you'll still be fast. And this game is based around speed, right? Like, I don't care about anything except for speed. Obviously, as a quarterback, throw power, throw accuracy, as long as it's over 80, that matters. But, yeah, wide receivers, everything else, you could take it. I'll take speed. Like, because, like, tall receivers in this game, unless the swerve is back in 21, don't make that many more. They do make a few more plays with body position in 20, but again, that depends on how 21's mechanics end up working. We'll see what kind of plays they can make versus smaller, faster guys. If they go height versus speed, which usually games do, I think small, speedy guys will be the meta. At least that's what I'm going to start with. And I'll probably do some videos once I get to playing the yard to talk about which position roles, prototypes are the best. And obviously they say quarterback, so they have like different prototypes, like they said, like Lamar. We'll get to that in a second. So here we go. Wide receiver CB, left, right. So the issue here is that you will be controlling 2 players in head-to-head online. So like if you choose a middle linebacker, you're a center and the middle linebacker defensive play caller. But you're not really a center, right? You'll just click off to your alternate player and you'll just be like a slot receiver. And you'll be like, all right, cool. And so you won't have to be stuck playing center, which I guess is fair, right? Nobody really wants to play center. But the thing is, center goes out for routes in this game. So, like, you don't actually have to block like you would on, mobile shows the guy blocking. I don't know. The thing is, they've played it. They prototyped it. They play tested it. 6v6. They said 3v3 is more fun because you get more involved. So, I haven't played it yet. So, I'm just guessing at 6v6 being what I wanted. But maybe 3v3 is actually what I wanted because it's going to be more fun. So, I got to take, like, with no hands-on experience, I have to take their word for it. So once you choose your position, it will form how you want to play, but it doesn't mean you have to play that way. You could choose to line up at quarterback, but pick a wide receiver-based prototype. While your best friend lines up outside with your quarterback, then you would focus behind line passes or multi-snaps pass your actual quarterback to kick off the play. It'll be interesting to see, like, if you do those laterals behind line of scrimmage, throw it, how much of an arm can you put on your wide receiver or halfback or whatnot. So it is interesting, the prototype screen. Let's break it down. Abilities, skills, rewards. So you have levels up here, and you have skill points, right? So your throw power, carry, catch, and traffic are down here. Let's go through this let me talk about this. There are 3 main components your prototypes loadout: X Factor, abilities, and skill points. Each prototype comes with a unique X Factor that you cannot change. The X Factors have unlock in the yard that are different that are standard Madden, but are directly related to overall performance on the field than the specific unlocks you'd see in other modes. Just pull up Coach Cam to see your specific progress. Next up are abilities. We grant you a few to start, but you unlock more by leveling up the prototypes in your binder. Kind of like how NBA, you level up your character, get higher overall, and badges and stuff, they give you more abilities. Or we're playing Face of the Franchise, Rise to Fame. Interesting that they brought that tie in too. I wonder if there'll be a monetized component of it to skip Face of the Franchise. I know 2K has that monetization. We'll see if this was... I don't think they don't mention anything about that, so we might have to be forced to play Face of the Franchise to get that quick boost before going online. Each prototype can slot 2 superstar abilities of your choice. Cool. 2 superstar abilities of your choice. But then we unlock more by leveling up. Each prototype, are we maxed out at 2 for each player? It looks like it. But like they'll give you more options as you level up. Obviously, tip drill and comeback aren't that great compared to the power level of some abilities. So yeah. Then there are skill points. Skill points are earned by leveling up prototype you are currently using. So you have to level up different players between scrambling quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, etc. You can use these skill points to accentuate specific traits of your prototype. Finally, you may have noticed the modifier section. These denote intrinsic traits of your prototype. A green arrow up means they have max skills in that area. Throw powers, like, interesting, like modifiers. Throw power, carry, catch, and traffic. I think that's due to, like, we'll see what height and weight has to play into it. Give me a second. But if the arrow is down and red, you shouldn't expect much in that skill. So you don't expect much in catching and traffic, obviously, from a scrambling quarterback. That's like a dump stat as it is. If you have to pass on quarterback play or have to catch, then that's not that great that you don't have that. But like, if you're passing your quarterback, it should be wide open, right? Philly special style. The height and weight also dictate how big you will be on the field. But don't worry, if you choose to make 7 foot 300 pound behemoth of a creative player, we'll make sure he takes up half the screen and all the menus. But like, what's the balancing point, right? Is the 7 foot 300 pound behemoth going to be slower? If it's not, then why wouldn't everybody make a 7 foot 300 pound behemoth? Finally, depending on the event, your teammates will be filled out automatically, or you'll have the chance to pick them for your team yourself. Teammates and squads. Now here they're going to break down the 3v3 versus, the 6 players in the field. You can play games against a CPU, but I don't give a shit. The yard also supports squads play. That means 1 to 3 players can join up to create a team in the yard. However, unlike a standard 11-11, NFL will have created special rules for the 6v6. See the player standing next to your avatar? Those are the players you'll be able to control in the game. So you get all 3 of those. This person gets all 3 of those. This is 2v2. When you're playing by yourself, you will be able to switch to any player on the field. They are your squad. In a duos game, each of you control your own avatar as well as 2 NFL stars. In a trios game, you'll control 1 other NFL star. In-game, you will always start on your avatar. Your partner players will have color indicated corresponding to the squad player color that appears under your partner players. If any of your players become the ball carrier, we will automatically switch them to you. So like as you see, this green guy got them both. This guy, I can't even see that. Huh. I think maybe this green guy gets those ones. I think it's 2v2. Yeah, it's 2v2, obviously. This guy gets those 3. This guy gets these 3. All right, so it's a fine system for what they wanted to do in the 3v3. They said they play tested 6v6 and they didn't like it. The thing is, like, okay, I don't love comparing video games to real life, but I'm going to here. So in real life, you don't always get the ball thrown to you. Like, the most action would be quarterback, and everyone want to be quarterback. Nobody really wants to be the wide receivers or whatever. And that makes sense, right? And maybe people get bored. Maybe people less people will play as a wide receiver. But, I mean, in the end, that's just life, right? In real life, people get ignored, but they still play the game. They still play backyard football because sometimes they get the ball thrown to them. So, on one hand, I feel like it's probably a good decision for fun factor, for people keeping people engaged to get the ball more often. On the other hand, it's basically just squads again, right? It's squads without linemen. So, you know, I can't tell you. I keep trying to, like, run through the scenarios in my brain like I'm some sort of time magician with 6 million outcomes. But, no, I don't know. We'll just see how it plays. In certain events, you'll get to draft your own teammates. This will happen after all the human players in the event have picked their position and prototype. Pay attention to the prototype and level, as well as slot abilities of each NFL player to create ones that's unstoppable. So, yeah, you get different players you can slot in. Mid, out, elite, red zone threat. That he'll be right there for you. Cool, right? I don't know. I think I'd probably want, like, receivers over cornerbacks, but we'll see what kind of abilities they have. I'd rather want, like, an explosive offense and then hope to just knock down a few balls on defense. But yeah, cornerbacks, if they can't catch, ouch, that might be tough playing wide receiver. Why not go full 6v6 humans? We tried all sorts of combinations when prototyping. Here's their response to my thoughts when prototyping the yard. From 7v7 all the way down to 3v3. We arrived at a maximum of 3 human controlling 6 players because it struck a great balance between focusing on your avatar to make sure as many players as possible get involved in every single play. Here's the pro tip. Try upgrading prototypes for every position on the field. That way, no matter where you end up on the field, you're always ready to go. Next, scramble your strategy. A powered-up quarterback prototype with wide receiver abilities can be deadly in a double pass-heavy offense, whereas a scrambling prototype lined up in the slot can break a lot of big runs. The choices and strategy are all yours. I like that. I like that depth. Nothing more to say about it. We'll see. We'll work on our prototypes and find which ones are the best as we go. The Yard World Tour. They talk about all the fields that we're going to be on. Kind of cool. Miami Port. Kind of a really neat look. Lambeau Tailgate outside the stadium. That's really cool too. FOB, Forward Operating Base in an undisclosed location. I don't know. I'm guessing with the mountains, Afghanistan. Location is filled with NFL stars who found the dog in them. I hope Vic's not there. Brandenburg Football Festival. It's funny that they talk about the Brandenburg Gate, but like they didn't show it off in this picture. They showed the other look. Anyways, oh yeah, each one of these locations is a unique challenge that you'll take on. FOB Nico will take on single drive drills with changing field position, or in Miami will face first and goal situations. These locations will also change the duration of the pass rush timer. In the future, who knows what rules will come up with future locations. So, different locations, different rules. Cool. Then they talk about gear a lot. Basically, they're going to talk about, and I'll sum it up here, leveling up individual prototypes to get unique gear to that prototype. There's 2,000 pieces of gear. I think it's cool, right? You'll be able to earn both level on your prototype. You'll be earning cred to unlock gear. Be able to buy it with that kind of cred and kind of customize your avatar different ways like this. So, kind of cool. Gameplay, game day glitch. Madden embraces the glitches. Sometimes. Full cage, you know, they have different names for them. Obviously, there's so many choices. They say 2,000 different ones, so they really put a lot of effort into this kind of unique customization, so good on them. Really good on them. I like it. Again, you know, I just wear t-shirts and polos and stuff, but I'm sure a lot of people will like that. We'll have fun with that, I think. And then the thing is, like, I do think, like, a lot of this, I wasn't a big fan of them having shoulder pads and helmets. I was thinking more like the NFL street style with guys just, like, you know, out there with their, you know, backyard football. You wouldn't have pads on that. But I think this is probably NFL rules. NFL probably required them to have pads and a helmet on, sadly. So, I was hoping for more, like, you know, individual and less people behind the helmet and pads, but I'm guessing, and I have no knowledge of this, that the NFL forced them to do that. For safety reasons. So yeah. Oh yeah, head-to-head events for each location are scored more than just the win and loss. They have a minimum score that you must achieve to earn ranking points. If you pass the minimum score, you'll earn the ranking points that unlock the new gear and rewards mentioned above. Super interesting. If you fail the minimum score, you won't earn ranking points, but you earn progress against your prototype. So, we'll see what ranking points and what is the minimum score that we need for each thing to kind of judge that. I don't know. Kind of weird that there's a minimum ranking point score to get it. Why wouldn't they just like do a solid progress bar? But we'll see how they probably work through that. The future of the yard. They're gonna add more shit, prototype gear stuff. Cool. Long blog. Here are the things that cross over between Madden Mobile. If you want to start on the Madden Underground, I talked about that. I did a video on the Madden Underground. Rep and Madden rank, earned currency, cred is shared. The Madden Cash and the Madden Points from the two systems are separated, but your avatar, your gear collection are both shared. Your gear loadout is not. So, 1 to 3 players versus other users or AI. They can do small-sided 6v6 multiplayer online. So, it is what it is. I'm excited for it. You know, they have other things where they tease it. They tease the location a little bit. Where was it? Find your fit. Rep. Home field advantage. You can see the locations, and they talk about a little bit in this link about unique footballs taking over. Draft out opponents. Oh, I thought they were going to talk about some of the. So they go through some of the screenshots of it, and then we got Miami Port. Florida has unique house rules that removes first downs and first and goal scenarios. Removes first downs and first and goals. We'll see what that ends up being. Let's see what this... Is this one got a special one? Run some drills, compete in offensive and defensive challenges. Huh. Here is the gateway. You'll also have additional time in the pocket to make reads. So I think the pocket here is a little bit longer. Maybe it's a 2-second timer to get the actual additional time here at Brandenburg. But that's it for the video. You know, there's some Instagram posts here with some like yard looking stuff, but I went over enough. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching Call to Action. Let me know what you think of the yard in the comments. It does look really nice. I will give that. It does look really nice, and I'm excited to try it. I think it's the best thing they brought into the game since Draft Champions in 16. But we'll see. Thanks for watching Call to Action.